All right, I think we are good. Hello and welcome, everybody. It's Brett McHugh, CEO and founder at ClinicGrower, and I'm really excited that you decided to join us today. We're going to be going through your 2024 digital marketing plan. I can't wait to get started. I see that we've got a good number of attendees here. If you could first just let me know if you're able to get me on audio. If you can just give me a one in the chat, please, if we can get an audio read. I appreciate that. Thank you. See plenty of ones come through. And also make sure you can see me on video as well. If you can smash a 2 into the chat, if you can see me on video. Thank you, Mark. Jessica, see you. Thank you so much. Okay, awesome. Well, again, thanks so much for joining me. I know that time is the most precious resource that we have today, and I appreciate you spending your time. Over the next 70 to 90 minutes, we're going to be going through this training and workshop to help you to build your 2024 digital marketing plan. And so what that means is that we're going to be going through strategy. I'm going to be sharing a workbook with you in a few moments that you'll be able to use. And the goal from this training and workshop today is to help you to craft a digital marketing plan to propel you into the new year with momentum, to have an actual plan that you can execute off. There's a ton of resources I'll be sharing today. And first, what I would like you to do is, number one, if you can just let me know the type of practice that you run. For example, I see that we've got some of our existing clients here. We appreciate you being here. Some other businesses that are in the aesthetic space. We've got some vein practices, aesthetics, and we've got some cosmetic surgeons here as well. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you, Mark. Yep. Jessica, awesome. Appreciate you being here. Sumit. Fantastic. Okay. Awesome. So gang, now that we've got everybody ready to rock and roll, I've got my team here as well. What we're going to do is you can use the chat feature. If you have questions as we go here, please use the chat feature. And we'll also do a Q&A at the end of the training and workshop here as well. If you could just turn off your cell phones and just focus with me for the next few minutes, it's really going to help to be here as you plan for the new year, okay? And so what I'm going to do here, I'm going to just get into the presentation. I'm going to do a screen share, and we will start to walk through and get you set for your 2024 digital marketing plan, okay? So, awesome. Let me know if you can see that. Looks like we have it on the screen. Fantastic. Cool. All right. So here is what the agenda is going to look like, okay? So the plan for this session, number one, we're going to go through goals and targets for the year. We're going to align KPIs, key performance indicators, to help you to move along the direction, the pathway that you're going to set, how to track the outcomes, okay? So not just strategy, but actual implementation steps and tracking as you progress throughout the year to make sure that you're on course to achieve what you want to achieve. We're going to map out that plan together. We'll go through budget, marketing channels, important trends that we're seeing in the digital marketing front, and we're going to set you up for massive success in 2024. So I'm really excited. If anybody else is excited, give me a one in the chat if you are excited to get through the session today. All right. Awesome. Love it. Fantastic. Appreciate it, guys. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. Go ahead and go to clinicgrower.com. In fact, I'm going to put this into the chat for you. It's my-24 plan. Okay. All right, I'm just going to give you a moment to open up the plan. When you go to that particular page, this is what you're going to see. You're going to go to a page that looks like this here, okay? This is your 2024 digital marketing plan. You're going to click here to grab a copy of the workbook, okay? Click on that. What it's going to do is going to bring you to a page where you're going to be able to copy it, okay? So you're going to hit that copy button. That is going to be yours. That's going to be your own workbook that you're going to be working off. Nobody else is going to have access to it unless you want to share it with them yourself. But go ahead, use that link. Give me a got it in the chat if you're able to get in and get access to your workbook. Awesome, Mark. Thank you. Jessica, awesome. Seeing some got it. Fantastic. Okay, cool. So this is a workbook that I want you to use on the session today, okay? So as you get down through the workbook, the first thing that we're going to tackle is your goals. Now, before we get into everything, working through this together, why are you doing this anyhow? Like, who am I? Why should you be downloading a workbook? Why should you be going through this? Well, again, this is Brett McHugh, CEO and founder of ClinicGrower, also the author of Seductive Digital Marketing and Sales for Aesthetic Practices. By being on the call today, you're going to get access to that book as well. I'm going to make sure to send it to you after the training. It's at the publisher, so you're going to have first access to getting that book, which should be launching towards the end of this year, definitely the beginning of January. I've been fortunate to have scaled multiple 7, even 8-figure practices. I see that we've got both 7 and some 8-figure practices on the call today as well. So no matter whether you're starting out or an established practice, this is going to be extremely valuable content and training for you. I've been working with medical and aesthetic practices since 2017, since I started ClinicGrower. I've handled advertising from politicians and presidents right down to local businesses, which is where our passion is. Myself and Brad have been fortunate enough to have worked with hundreds of medical and aesthetic practices. And that's what drives us is we don't get to meet everybody unless we're at events. We do love going to visit clients. You're on the call today. We really appreciate you being here and your time. Our mission is to serve you, is to serve medical and aesthetic entrepreneurs and businesses. And we want to help 1,000 ambitious medical and aesthetic practices to get more patients, to triple your sales and grow your revenues as a direct result of our services. That's our commitment. That's what we're doing. As we get through the plan here and as you open up your workbook, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to set clear goals, okay? Now, the importance of goal setting can't be underestimated, because if you don't have clear goals, you're kind of like a sailboat that's, at the mercy of the wind, okay? Sometimes you can be in the doldrums if you're not strategic, if you don't have a specific plan together, okay? And when you do have a specific plan, a strategy that's mapped out, it's like that you've got the wind in your sails. Having goals, having a direction, having that GPS and compass that you're moving towards is absolutely crucial. And so I want to refer, before we get into the workbook, to back this up with a Harvard study. In 1979, they interviewed a bunch of graduates and 84% had set no goals. Maybe give me one if you've heard this one before, if you've seen it before, if this resonates. 13% set written goals, but had no concrete plans. 3% had both written and concrete plans together. They had the goals, they had the plans to achieve the goals, and the results are what they are. They're interesting. I think they're evident in the world that we live in. The 13% of the class that had set written goals but had not created plans were making twice as much money as the 84% that had no goals at all. So just by having the written goals, just by writing your goals, making double the money that the 84% that had no goals at all. Where it gets really interesting is that the 3% of the class that had both written goals and a plan, they were making 10 times as much as the rest of the 97%. So needless to say, goal setting is absolutely crucial. When we come back into our workbook here, and I'd like to bring you over there right now, the first thing we're going to do is have you to set your objectives, okay? To set your clear goals and targets for the year. You come down to the page here, the 2024 plan. I want you to, in order to get where you need to go, you need to understand where you are. So on your workbook, please go ahead and write in your average monthly revenue. This is your average monthly revenue today for the year of 2023. I know there can be seasonality, so factor that in. Look at your averages. If you have those numbers, and I'm hoping you have them, you should know them, then plug it in here. Otherwise, come back after the training and make sure that you do this. The average monthly revenue is going to give you your starting point. From there, this is where you want to put in your average typical number of sales transactions or treatments or procedures or packages that you provide patients, that you sell on a monthly basis, okay? What's the average typical number of appointments that you have per month as well? What's the average value of a sale for you, okay? So I know that there's both, there's practices here that have procedures that they do for $2,500. We've got some cosmetic surgeons that are doing an average of $10,000 and sometimes a lot more. We've got MedSpas here that your average transaction might be $700, $800, or maybe closer to $1,200. And we want to talk about how you can up the average ticket on the call today as well, okay? You've also got your appointment show rate, understanding what the percentage of patients that show up, that book appointments. What is the percentage of inquiries that you get, of leads that you get that schedule an appointment? And then also, what's the average cost per lead? If you're doing marketing, for example, you're going to need to understand what an average cost per lead is in order to get those opportunities. I'll also provide some tools on the call today as well, on the training and the workshop. So once we have that done, okay, make sure that you're also thinking further ahead. what is your 2026 goal? Looking 3 years into the future. You look back, we know this year has gone by extremely quick. What is the next 3 years going to look like for you? We know it's going to go by quick as well. When we get to 2026, we'll look back and understand where are you going to be from an annual revenue standpoint. If you're doing $1 million a year right now, are you going to be doing 3 million? Write that goal down. Okay. Why is that important to you? From experience, and I know this used to sound hokey years ago, unless you have a specific why, a reason that we're committing to achieve a goal for, then it really doesn't matter. I'm going to come back and just reference a really a favorite personality of mine, a business expert. It's Brian Tracy, who said that success is goals and all else is commentary. So if you don't have specific goals that you're moving towards for 2024 and further into the future, then everything else is just noise. It's commentary. There's going to be shiny objects that pop up along the way that will distract you unless you have those clear goals set. Okay. So write down your vision on your worksheet. Okay. Make sure you're staying here. Ideally, you'll have a tab open with the worksheet, right? And you're going to have, me here showing you exactly what we're doing on the other tab on your screen. So put your metrics in here, and then we're going to get into some of the fun stuff. Okay. This is where we're going to start talking about targets. And so in order to get in there, what you're going to do is use the worksheet. Okay. And there's going to be a clickable option here. You're going to open up the spreadsheet. And when you do, it's going to ask you to copy again. And this is where you're going to come into your sheet, and we're going to go to the second tab. Okay. This is where we're going to be getting into our growth goals and our target planner. Okay. And so when we're in here, this is where, number one, take a quick break here and wet my whistle a little bit. Put a 1 in the chat if you're with me, if you're tracking along with everything so far. Okay. Awesome. Good. Looks like everybody's plugged in. If there's anything you're not getting, you can reach out after the call here. I'm going to give you an opportunity. There's going to be ways that you can get in touch with us. info@clinicgrower.com, clinicgrower.com/schedule. But for now, I want to make sure that everybody's tracking along here. It looks like we are. Okay. Now this resource is extremely powerful. Okay. You only need to enter data in the cells that are in yellow. All right. Everything else has been formulated for you. So you're going to put in your starting revenue standpoint. I know there's some practices here on the call that are doing $5 million a year, and they're looking to go towards 7.5. That's awesome. Maybe you're going a little bit further than that based off what we're looking as far as 2026. But plug your revenue in here. We've got some MedSpas, for example, that are going to be, and there's some that I know personally are hovering around that $1 million, and we're going to get you over that $1 million. There's others that maybe you're, you just have started out more recently. You're going to be around that, maybe that 400, 500,000. Plug your numbers in here. This is for your unique business. Your business is going to be different from other people on the call, from other people down the street. You are different from other people on the call. So plug your goals in. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. This is your sheet. This training and workshop is for you. So plug in your actual revenue here. Then we're going to go to our revenue goal. Okay. Now from here, what we're going to do is it's going to enable us to see where our monthly average is. Okay. So what's our monthly average revenue? What's our revenue goal? Okay. It breaks it down automatically for you. For example, if you're doing $1 million a year, okay, got enough zeros on that one. Let's plug another one in. All right. And you want to get to, realistically, okay, these have got to be goals that you're going to be able to achieve. There's no point in going from 1 million to 10 million unless you've got some private equity coming in to back you up and you've got some absolutely monstrous plans here. But maybe you're going from 1 million to 1.5 million. And I think that's something that's very achievable. All right, it's going to break down your averages here. We're just going to go back, and I'm just going to go back to where we started here. It's also going to show you your growth rate goal, okay? This is an aggressive growth goal, a very achievable one, to go from 750 to not quite doubling, but a 73% growth goal. And then the 6% here, this is your month to month, okay? So what does that look like on a monthly basis? Make sure I'm tracking, everybody tracking. Just give me a 1 in the channel if you're tracking along with me. Fantastic. Okay, good. We're going to keep going, guys. So this is where you need to know your numbers. As a business owner, our businesses run on numbers. We know that, we want to provide the numbers to our team as well. Make sure we're communicating our goals and our vision to our team. having key metrics in place is so important, and understanding the numbers that run your business, your average sale value, okay, the transaction value. So as I said, if that's a procedure for $2,500, your plan is going to look a little bit different here, okay? If this is I was saying an average transaction or an average sale of 750, and that's going to be typical for a lot of medical aesthetic med spas on the practice here. If someone's coming in for 30 units of Botox, maybe some fillers, then you're going to be there maybe closer to $1,000. What is the average close rate? For every patient that sits across the desk from you, what percentage of them close? If 10 patients sit across from you and 5 move forward treatment, that's a 50% close rate, which is, I want to be conservative with numbers here so that we can kind of put you in a situation to estimate safely and accurately, and then look to making sure that you're doing the inputs to get the outputs of goal achievement. What's your appointment show rate? Put that number in here. What is the lead to schedule appointment? For every 10 inquiries that you get, do 7 of those schedule an appointment? Is that 70%? I'm going to put in a really conservative number of 20% here, okay? The person of the plan. What's an average cost per lead for you? There is a column here, an average cost per lead by source. So this is from data that we have collected from different sources, from Google, from Meta, blended average. You also want to factor in, referrals. So you'll know your numbers, or you should know your numbers, but these are from our experience from different channels, what we've seen. And then average ticket or average sales transactions. Again, average the shapes and sizes of practices. So I want to include the asterisk there. You should know your numbers. Okay, once you have those numbers plugged in, it's going to break down how many sales transactions you would be required to hit your goal. And at a goal of 1.3 million, you're going to need to do 1,733 transactions for the entire year. The best way to eat an elephant is in bite-sized chunks, okay? One bite at a time. So we're going to break it down monthly, weekly, and daily. Now, on a monthly level, that's 144 transactions, 144 sales, 144 treatments, okay? On a weekly level, it's only 33. So 33 or 7 per day. So now you can see how it's manageable, right? 7 treatments a day. A lot of you guys are doing more than that. I know some of you want to get to that, but that's where we're at. The appointment shows that are needed, sales opportunities. So at that close rate, if your close rate is 80%, and I know some guys here that are higher than that, then you're going to need less opportunities to get to that goal, okay? But if you're 50%, you're going to need almost 3,500 or 13 opportunities daily, 289 monthly. Again, if we've got a higher close rate, then we're only needing 8 opportunities daily, 42 weekly, okay? So at that close rate, also the scheduled appointments are next. How many scheduled appointments are needed to get to that revenue number? Well, at the appointment scheduling rate here, we're going to need, at the show rate, we're going to need 4,333, okay, or 17. Now, if your show rate is higher than, I'm going to go back here to show rate of 70%, you're going to need 19 appointments showing up on a daily basis in order to hit that goal, okay? Okay, cool. So we've been through some numbers here. We're going to keep going, but just give me a yes in the chat if you're with me so far. I want to make sure that we're tracking. Okay. Awesome. All right. Now, this is going to break down your budget, okay? So we see that most marketing budgets are averaging between 8 to 15% of revenue, 8 to 12, a little bit more conservative. So this is where you can plug in your marketing budget. What are you spending? What are you comfortable with spending? Okay. So in here, we've gone with kind of almost like a standard 10%, but you can plug in your marketing budget. And this is where we have the comparison as well, so that you can really see the phased growth plan. At a 10% marketing budget to get to your goal, and you've got to invest in growth, the annual budget is going to be 130,000, 10% of your 1.3 million, average monthly budget of 10,833. So you could plug in and start spending 10 grand out of the gate. Or what a lot of businesses want to do is to have a phased growth plan. And that's where we've broken that down here so that you can see what that looks like on a monthly basis. You're starting revenue, and then all the way down to how that growth is going to occur at that growth rate. This is what you need from the monthly sales revenue, okay? You're doing 62.5 right now at 750,000, and you're going to be increasing that as the months go on. How many sales are going to be needed? How many transactions are needed to get to that? How many appointments showing up are going to be needed on a monthly basis to get to that? How many scheduled appointments at these numbers here? So plug your numbers in, know your numbers. These are conservative. I think most of you should have higher numbers than this. how many new appointments are going to be needed? Remember that you're going to have an existing client base from this. Okay, there's going to be some recurring clients here for a med spa. If you're a cosmetic surgeon, if you're some vein clinics, you're going to have a higher overall procedure rate, so it's going to look a little different. So plug your numbers in, because at the end of the day, you're going to need new leads every month. So this is going to track how many new leads you need on a monthly basis, and at an average cost per lead here of $85, you're going to be requiring a scaling budget here to track towards getting to your 1.3 million at the end of the year, okay? Which averages out to be a 9.9 or 10% budget. Guys, plug your numbers in. This is for you. It's your workbook. Nobody else will have access to this data unless you share it with them. Give me a got it in the chat if you've got this and if you're ready to move forward. But this is fundamental. This is how you're going to be able to visualize and to plan your budget that you're going to be able to execute on for the year. Okay, I see the chat. Thank you is lighting up. Thanks, Jessica. Mark, again, you guys are very engaged. Appreciate it. Lake, awesome. Okay, team, we're going to move on here, okay? So once we've got that, okay, and once we've got our specific budgets in place, what we want to do now is break it down and see like what's happening with those budgets. So if you come over and we'll go back to our sheet here, all right, we've got a tab, which is our budget allocations. Now, this is the fun stuff from the business ownership standpoint as well, okay? You only need to enter the data in the yellow cells, your annual projected revenue, okay? It's where you plug in your marketing budget. This is where you get to look at allocation. Now, as a business, you're not just going to be doing digital marketing, okay? In 2024, digital marketing is going to occupy the lion's share of your budget. And you're also going to have other sources as well. You're probably going to be doing some offline traditional marketing. You need to be having an allocation of budget and time and energy and resources to repeat business as well. We want to make sure that we're getting more business from the current clients, the current patients that we have. All right. So from the digital marketing standpoint, I see that an 80-20 rule or 75-15-10 works really well. So 75% of our budget will be allocated towards digital marketing, about 15% towards offline. We actually have a product ourselves that we just launched, which is a postcard product. So visitors that come to your website, we retarget them through strategic postcards. It's a great touch point. So you're going to want to consider, are you doing postcards? Are you doing direct mail? Are you doing television? There's some guys here on the call that are doing radio. They're doing television. They're doing billboards, for example. Okay. When it comes to repeat business, are you doing a repeats program? Are you doing a reward program? Are you sending gifts to clients to wow them after their first experience? Are you putting collateral in the hands of patients that are coming in to get a referral? You should be doing things like that. There should be time and energy and focus to getting repeat business. There's going to be a component of offline for many of you. Maybe it's 10% here, and maybe it's 80% for your digital marketing. So you can obviously, tweak that as needed. And then the repeat business as well. Now, what that's going to do is going to break it down on a monthly basis for each of those channels: digital marketing, offline marketing, and repeat business. Okay. So you'll see, and you'll have a specific number that you're going to be able to shoot towards to essentially to be able to let me get this back, to be able to understand like where that money is going, to be able to allocate to those channels. Okay. So give me a got it if you're tracking along here, because we're moving down here into, from the digital marketing standpoint, where we specialize in helping businesses grow. We're going to be allocating it to different digital marketing pillars as well. Your organic, your website and SEO. Like what's your foundation looking like? What are you allocating to that, your digital storefront, to your foundation? Digital marketing from a paid ad standpoint. A lot of practices that are on here, you've seen the benefit of investing in paid ads, the ability to go outside of your organic database, outside of your current patient list, and to be able to go and reach and generate new patients, new leads, new schedules. That's it. That's advertising. That's marketing, and that's growth. There's also a component where once you've got those patients in your database and you've got those patients that are coming to see you, then let's remarket. Let's have them generate more referrals for us. Let's make sure that we're retargeting leads in our system. It's 2024 coming up, and you're going to want to have a really good retargeting strategy in play as well. As you map that out, your specific budget percentages, it's going to then populate for you on a monthly basis, what you're going to be able to allocate to those specific channels. Okay. And then next, this is a bonus that we've set up for you. This is an action plan and tracking dashboard. So as you start to execute going into 2024, there's a little how-to video on how to use it here once you get this. This is going to show you, okay, cool, from my digital marketing, from my offline, from my repeat business, specifically where I'm planning to spend my budget and where you're also spending that at the end of the month. So it's a checks and balance, okay? What are we planning? What are we doing? As you populate this with your numbers, it's going to fill up your dashboards here to create a really helpful visual. What's happening from the budget allocation? What are we actually spending? What does that look like from the month-to-month level? And then from a year-to-date level as well, you know, which of the components here, which ones are generating, which ones are we're spending on, and which ones are we overspending, so that you can manage those specific budgets, okay? Okay, cool. So give me yeah in the channel, hell yeah, if you got this so far, because we want to move on and want to protect your time today. Awesome. Jessica, hell yeah. Yep. Let's keep going, guys. Let's keep moving here. I'm really excited to start to get now into more of the strategy. Okay. We're business leaders on the call here. You are running a business, and as a business leader, you're leading a team into war every day. It's you and your team. You need to have a strategy, a plan in order to attack the market every day. There's competitors that are vying for the same patients that you are. So having a strategy in play, an action plan driven by goals is crucial. And we're going to go through and show you our strategic growth model, okay? In order to grow your practice, you need to, number one, get new leads, seduce new patients, okay? Those patients need to schedule appointments. Without having patients come into the practice, leads are worthless. So it starts to generate new leads, inquiries, interest, having those patients schedule new appointments. From there, having those patients show up. So we want to maximize our show rate. We want to increase sales, okay, drive that sales revenue, and inevitably we want to scale our business, okay? You want to scale your business as part of the strategic growth model and as part of the wheelhouse. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump into strategy. This is where you need to understand, where are you going to decide to focus your limited resources, your time, your energy, and your money when building your business, okay? So we're going to start with our organic SEO. This is the foundation. We find this is where you've got to be able to attract new patients that are out there looking for your services, okay? And so I'm more than happy on a call, myself or Brad or our team, to go into this in more depth for you. The ability to be able to grow market share and to be seen by patients that are looking for you in your marketplace is so important. And we audit a lot of practices every week, every month. And too many practices don't have these fundamentals in order. They're missing out on opportunities, and you may be too. You want to make sure that you have your on page in play. Okay, this is where it's optimizing titles, imagery, unique content for each of your pages is so important. Your GMB or your Google My Business, or what's now called Google Business Profile, we're going to talk more about that. That's a major driver for local businesses, for local brick and mortar businesses like yours. When patients are looking for best med spa near me, best cosmetic surgeon, best Botox, best mommy makeover, cost of liposuction, those types of things, okay? We also need to understand, that the system needs to be a system in place for driving reviews, okay? Reputation. Also having citations, which is your name, your address, your phone number on different citation channels is crucial. Ongoing content, as we mentioned, pushing out new blog content continuously. That lets Google know that you're publishing content that patients want to find out about, information that positions you as the authority, okay? And it's a signal to the search engines to say, this company, this business knows what they're talking about. Patients like it. And Google they're all about user experience. It's about having relevancy for the users. So we also want to make sure that we have signals that are being leveraged. So expertise, authority, trust, what I like to call KLT points, patients getting to know, like, and trust your practice. And we can do that by having no follow links, do follow links on the website, using them strategically, having the Google business profile listings, and also the multiple maps on the website when you're doing your city pages, and really just fresh content. Make sure we're updating content on a continuous basis as well, okay? Now, in 2024, this is going to be of utmost importance, of paramount importance, is understanding how to seduce new patients and dominate through local search. Why are we looking at a screen that has a bunch of red dots and yellow dots? I'll explain. This is what we call our heat mapping strategy. And this is something that we went deep into at ClinicGrower during 2023, and it's becoming a cornerstone component of the plans that we put together for all the practices that we work with. You shouldn't sleep on this, guys. If you would like us to pull a heat map report for your market, just reach out. What we're looking at here is for a best MedSpas search within a specific city in Georgia, a region in Georgia where we have our practice. There's a competitor, for example, on the left. Our client is on the right with all the green, the good information, the good data. On the left, what we're seeing here is that when someone's searching for best med spa, they're showing up, the red dots have a number 20 associated with them. That means that they're not even showing up in the maps, okay? They're nowhere to be found when someone searches for best med spa. And they're wondering, where'd all the patients go? Well, all the patients, not all, but a lion's share of the patients are finding our client. And this has only been a strategy we've had in play for the last 3, almost 4 months right now. They're showing up for number 1 in this area. It's a 13-mile zone. These pins are 1 mile apart each. And you can see that our practice is dominating where they're showing up in number 1, number 2, as you get further out, number 3. That means that they're showing up in that first position in that Google map, just like this, okay? They're showing up right here when someone searches for best med spa in that area. They're showing in that top map position. Number 20, the other practice right here, you would have to go click more, search, they're buried. And as the joke goes, where the best place to bury a dead body is on page 2 of Google, okay? So showing up in that number 1 position or those top 3, that map pack is absolutely crucial. 42% of local searches involve clicks on the Google map pack. People in an area resonate with, this is my area, this is a map, I'm looking for a business near me. It's crucial to be showing up here, guys. Don't sleep on this. It's something you absolutely have to do if you want to dominate and to become one of the leaders in your marketplace. The benefit of appearing in the higher positions in the map pack, it also boosts your organic SEO as well. So through other work that we've been doing, through content, through blogging, through citations, through having a good on-page, off-page, and a really great local SEO strategy here at the Google Map Pack is helping our practice to experience new patient flow levels like they haven't done before. We've also got other clients in different niches, and one of our vein practices, for example, this was a case study that we've done over the course of 6 months, going back towards 22 to 23, saw a massive increase as part of this SEO organic foundational strategy, increasing not only page views, organic views, like the number of calls and clicks increasing that went through the roof, because when they were buried on that second page and we got them to that first page and into that map pack, it's just like you step into a room of new opportunity. Okay. So please make sure that you have a strategy in place, a good organic and a map strategy. At the end of the day, phone calls turn into conversations, which turn into consultations, which turn into new patients and new revenue for our practices. This is where I want you to understand that you really need to show up where it counts. And having a diverse plan that doesn't just rely on one particular platform is crucial. You want to have a really good organic foundation. So that's where we have our organic SEO, okay? Our map pack strategy. What we really like as well is we like to have social media for our aesthetic practices, for med spas, for our cosmetic surgeons, plastic surgeons, or cosmetic dentists, and our vein clinics too, is to have a really good social media strategy, because we're able to influence new patients, put content directly in front of them. To also invest in paid ads on Google. A few years ago, we might have had this closer to social media, but the cost per lead and the cost per acquisition is much more favorable on social media because there's so much competition, primarily within the Google ad space and also within paid directories as well. So this is where in some markets, Yelp might make sense, real self. So just assess, and from a holistic standpoint, understand, where you need to be, where you need to allocate your budget. We also need to make sure that we're allocating to retargeting and automation. Make sure that automation and AI or follow-up, lead management is playing into helping you to convert these leads. Okay, generating leads is one thing, but converting is crucial as well. Okay, give me an organic in the chat if you guys understand the power of organic, and want to make sure that we've got that covered before we move on. Awesome. Because as we were talking here, now we're going to talk about paid ads. This is where we get to put fuel on the fire. This is where we get to really accelerate the growth of our business, of our practice. And this is something that you should be paying attention to. Where are you going to be investing from a paid advertising standpoint? From having managed hundreds of millions of dollars of advertising campaigns over my career, I can tell you that in digital, most ad campaigns fail because of these core reasons, okay? Number one, they're set up with only one ad group. Perhaps if we're doing Google search and we're bundling everything in together, from our Botox to our body contouring, breast augmentation, toxins, fillers, you know, whether you're doing it yourself or someone that you know is, or maybe another company doesn't really know what they're doing, putting everything into one ad set, one ad group is going to cause problems, okay? Because there's going to be different data, different patterns, depending on the different type of patient that's looking for the different type of procedure or treatment. Not using specific text in ads, okay? So having good content, making sure that the landing pages are set up correctly for that specific type of offer that you're putting together, okay? We see a big problem here is that too many campaigns are running to a website page, or just different conditions are going to one landing page, which is a surefire way to have bad conversion and to actually waste money. So not having a good call to action or offer on the landing page is key. If you get someone's attention, you better make it worth their while to get there. Give them an offer. What's in it for me? Okay, what's in it for them when they get to that landing page? All right. And a big no-no, a big killer of conversion, a big waste of money is having a slow response to leads, okay, or a poor speed to lead. Once we're generating those leads and having the inquiries come in, you don't want it to be crickets. That person today really expects some instant connection, and they need to be followed up with as soon as possible. Now, the fundamentals of winning ad campaigns, throughout my career, I've seen that having a number one, a targeted audience, knowing who your audience is. If you pick up the book, Selective Digital Marketing for Medical Aesthetic Practices, one of the first things we talk about is understanding your avatar, okay? Having that tailored for your market, for your campaigns and your specific needs. A clear message. I talk about the market, your avatar, the medium you're advertising on, okay, whether it's Google or Facebook or TikTok, and also the message. What type of clear message are we putting together that communicates your benefits, the benefits of your services, and sets you apart from competitors? Engaging content, okay, that creates awareness, interest, desire, and action. The old AIDA, if there's anybody here who studied marketing, that will resonate with you. Conversion optimized landing pages, well-designed landing pages that we'll take a look at in a minute. Trust building, making sure that we're building the trust with patients, those KLT points through testimonials, through videos, and through social proof. Having strong calls to action, right? Making sure that we're telling people what we want them to do when they come to our landing page, to our website, okay, to the area that we direct them through the ad campaign. And guys, making sure that we're tracking everything, making sure we have a really good strategy in place to track each stage of that new patient journey and identify areas for improvement is key, okay? Now, when it comes to social media ad campaigns, using that awareness, interest, desire, and action formula that we use for ads is key in conversion, okay? We got to number one, get people to stop in their newsfeed or stop doing what they're doing when we're trying to influence them, all right? We need to get their interest by making an offer to them, have them desire to want to come in by giving them social proof, making them feel really good about coming in and getting them to take action with a strong call to action. Here's some samples of ads that do that for us through video, through carousel ads with video, through leveraging really strong offers and really seductive type of imagery as well, okay? Now with PPC ads on Google, PPC can be very quick and a quick way to help to subsidize some of your early SEO. SEO can take a little while to grow, 4 to 6 months. So what you want to do is consider using PPC if your budget permits to help with that organic search traffic as you're building that organic engine, that SEO engine, okay? So think about you're paying the search engine, paying Google to rank in those high spots while your SEO, your organic SEO kicking into play. Go back to the map strategy. That map strategy works really quickly and really well. So reach out to us because that can help you to save from a PPC ad budget by having that work in your favor, okay? Now, when you are doing PPC ad campaigns on Google, for example, you want to not only know what you're going to say from your message, you really need to understand what is your competition saying. When's the last time you did a competitive analysis, okay? So that you can position your business to win against the competition. Now, we use tools, and if you reach out to schedule a call with us, this is one of the things that we will prepare for you so that you can know the competition and win with your PPC ads. This is showing competitive ads from a Google standpoint, understanding what's happening for a local med spa. From microneedling was one of the services that they wanted to understand what competitors were doing. Okay. So reach out to us. We've got tools. Just know that you should understand and you should be able to monitor competitors. Okay. This is some results from one of our clients' PPC ad campaigns. The number of leads they got during 1 month is 73, quite similar to what we've seen in the plan that we went through earlier. At a conversion rate from that landing page of 25%, which we see for a lot of our aesthetic programs, those 73 leads turned into 18 new sales for that particular client, and an average spend of $2,500. That was $45,000 in new revenue generated. The ad spend was $3,000 at that cost per lead. And so the projected ROI from that campaign, the ROI that was delivered was 15-1. So just know that when you spend wisely and you've got a good strategy, the lead generation and the cost to acquire a new patient can be extremely profitable. Okay. We don't often run into situations where we go head to head with other companies. This was an interesting example from a few months ago where there was a company that was in the same ad account that we were in. This is actually over a year ago. And they were driving all their traffic to a web page. They weren't using the correct targeting. We come in, we use our strategy where we're understanding the medium, the market that we're targeting, and also the messaging, what type of copy, what type of content we're using. And so you can see here that we're generating leads at 75% less than the other company, which means that essentially we're getting 6 leads for every one that the other company was getting, or maybe it's closer to 5 for every one they were getting in this example as well. So just make sure you have the right strategy for your paid ad campaigns. When they come together, like Dr. Evans will tell you, they had challenges with lead generation, with booking rates, with just filling the calendar. She's now booked solid 6 to 8 weeks out. She's only doing 2 days a week, and we're adding over $8,000 of new revenue for her business. So once you have that marketing machine dialed in, it fills schedules, and it's there as an investment to put $1 in and take $4 or $5 back. Okay. Or sometimes a lot more. Give me a website if you guys are interested in going through and discussing our website strategy here as part of a strategic growth model. We're going to get into that. It's very important to have a strategy when it comes to that foundation from the website also. Okay. Now, when it comes to websites, there's a science and an art. They need to look good, to look beautiful, especially in the aesthetic space. They also need to be able to perform from a scientific standpoint. So captivating design, elegance, having a seamless flow to those pages, to the website, making sure that they load really quickly. Okay. And also making sure you're getting your personality across here. We can see that some practices shy away from showing the provider. I can tell you when I go to a medical website and I see the provider isn't there, I'm not really inclined to want to reach out if they're anonymous. So make sure you're there, you're present. Okay. You are part of your brand. The responsivity on mobile responsiveness is going to be crucial, especially because most of your traffic comes from there. Also making sure you've got specific sections and pages for different types of services that you offer. Okay. This is a quick walkthrough of some of the websites that we've been creating. And it's also crucial to understand that as part of the website formula, there's a number of different critical elements that you need to have in place in order to enhance the performance. Number one, make sure that we're talking to our avatar. Okay. What are their fears? What are their frustrations? Why should they choose you over anybody else? Being real and authentic with patients. Okay. Leveraging video and multimedia options. As I said, that social proof. Okay. Making sure we've got the testimonials, the videos of patients, ensuring that there's clear call to action, telling patients what we need them to do. Using special offers, guys, make sure that we've got special offers in order to turn an anonymous viewer on your website into someone who's taking action. As I mentioned, we also have a program where those anonymous viewers, we can retarget them through postcards as well. So another way to reach out and reach them. Get in touch if you'd like to learn more about that. Also, when it comes to the website, mobile optimization, leveraging a chat widget in 2024, it's extremely important to be able to do that, okay? Research is showing us that 75% of consumers now prefer to engage in chat messaging in text messaging over private messaging channels versus that traditional phone call. People are, as you know, it's easier to shoot off a text message and to reply to one versus to get into a conversation that can go many different directions in a world where people are more and more starved of time, okay? And this is an example of what that chat widget looks like when it pops up on the website, okay? It grabs attention. If you're not using a chat widget in 2024, you're missing out on opportunities. It's that simple. You don't need to fear of having a person behind it, or you don't even really need to have an AI-driven chat, because the beauty is the simplicity of these chat widgets that our practices use is that it generates that lead, that name, that phone number, that email, so that you or your team or we can reply to that patient, but you get that important contact information to follow up with. Otherwise, you don't get anything. If someone is spending time to go through a chat without entering your lead information, it doesn't make sense. Site speed, we spoke about that, and using marketing automation in order to engage and to move patients along the journey is going to be crucial, okay? Okay, cool. Let me get a 7, my favorite number, in the chat here. If we're tracking, if we're on course, we're going to talk about scheduling new patient appointments. Love it. All right, Mark, Jennifer Lake, Sumit, looks like we've got the 777. My lucky numbers reminds me of a recent trip to Vegas, but we won't talk about that today. Let's talk about scheduling, okay? When it comes to scheduling, when it comes to the new patient journey, it's really about the patient, okay? Patient-centric approach. And so we want to give them, as much as possible, give them the opportunity, make things convenient for the patient. And there's so much convenience with the opportunity to schedule online, to be able to look at availability, or to be able to request an appointment time versus just to enter a name, phone number, and email. Okay, a lot of patients want the opportunity to look at their calendar because they're thinking, when can I come into this business? If we don't have that, that's in their mind. They want to know, like, how can I fit this into my schedule? So it's crucial in 2024 to be able to offer an opportunity to either schedule online with a provider like our client Spa Black is, or to be able to request an appointment time so that your team can follow up and confirm that time, but then the patient is further along in that conversation. That's what we want to do. We want to drive that conversation with the patient, give them the opportunity to say, hey, I want to schedule on Thursday at 2:00 or Thursday at 3:30. Okay. Is that clicking, guys? Can we see the importance there? If you can give me a yes in the channel, I would appreciate it. Okay. One of our clients, Verhalen Aesthetics, that was one of their challenges. They had a challenge with scheduling. We added lead generation. The opportunity to give patients an option to schedule, to pick a time, was crucial for them. Also, including a component of speed to lead. They weren't able to keep up with patients quickly enough. So having our system, our automation, and our lead generation and nurturing process come into play to schedule those patients generated an incredible amount of new revenue, over $200,000 per month of new revenue for patients that were slipping through the cracks. Patients where leads were coming in, but they didn't have options to schedule. Patients that leads were coming in, but they weren't being followed up with. We added 361 new patients in the first 6 months at a 95% show rate. I'll explain how we got that show rate in a little while. It ties together with the system that you should be implementing for your practice in 2024 and beyond. Now, for some practices here, I know from the attendees, generating new leads is a problem. You can't generate enough, and that's why your organic, your paid ad strategy is important. But there's also other practices here that you're already getting a good lead flow, but there needs to be a higher level of conversion, okay? And so there's so many ways to generate leads. There's the paid traffic, there's Facebook, Instagram, Google, your website, there's word of mouth, okay? What we want to take a look at next is leveraging automation from a conversion standpoint, because unless we're converting the leads, then it's a waste of time, right? Or time isn't being used effectively. So here's the challenge that we see, okay? About 50 to 60% of inbound leads leave unconverted. I was reading an article that 90% of, this is industry-wide, 90% of web form submissions, okay? Someone comes to your website, name, phone number, email, maybe a message, 90% of those leave unconverted as well, because, as I'll explain, a time lapse, okay? An average of 36% of calls or inquiries, here we go unresponded. Someone calls in, it's busy, or goes through a phone tree. People get lost. They've got limited time. And too many practices suffer from what we call lead leakage, okay? And here's why. Those leads aren't followed up with quickly enough. A lead is going to go ice cold within 15 minutes if they don't have a connection with the practice, if they're not engaged. The average customer must be followed up with today 5 to 7 times. Think about the last time that you've done business with someone. Was it just that bang, that one email, that one contact, that one text message? No, multiple touch points, okay? The awareness, the interest, the desire, and the action. Patients communicate in very, very different ways, okay? They communicate differently today than they did 10 years ago. Calls, SMS, web form submissions, Google Business Profile, Messenger, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. The list goes on, okay? Today's consumers prefer to interact via text message versus phone call or email. But the big thing they want is they want it now. They want instant gratification, okay? Anybody with kids will understand that. But also running a practice, you'll understand that patients want now. They want things on their terms. You know, we're in the democratization of healthcare and the situation where patients are consumers and they're customers, okay? So speed to lead, following up with these new patient opportunities is critical. This is something that since the inception of ClinicGrower in 2017 has been at the core of what we do is generating opportunities, is conversion, is speed to lead. The response time of 3 minutes is if you're responding to patients outside of 3 minutes, you're losing conversion opportunity, okay? You're wasting money. Your investment, your return on investment is starting to disintegrate. Every minute thereafter, you start to lose, okay? If you're able to speak to patients immediately from the moment they get in touch, you're 4 times more likely, 391% more likely to convert that patient. It goes up to about 60% more likely after the fact that they've got the response within 2 minutes, the connection through the text message. We really need to be doing that as quickly as possible. After 30 minutes, it goes down to 62%. You're almost half as likely, about 38% less likely to be able to connect and convert with that patient. And so give me a speed to lead in the chat if you guys are tracking with this. If you see the importance of being able to connect with that patient, to move them along in that conversation and conversion process. I see speed in the channel. Thank you. Awesome, guys. It's so important. It's really important to be able to understand the impact of speed to lead and conversion, okay? So here's the solution. Leveraging marketing automation. When we first started ClinicGrower, I was combining a number of different tools together to help from an email standpoint, a text message standpoint, from a phone call standpoint, from a tracking standpoint, okay? But leveraging the automation to follow up with web forms within the first 2 minutes via a phone call submission, via a web form submission or a phone call, and making sure that we're automating the follow-up, okay? Every prospect is going to be touched a minimum of 5 times. We saw the data. That doesn't have to be a barrage, like one after the other, but it needs to be sequenced. We use AI and automation to do that appropriately at different times, at different interactions with that patient, and just ensure that you've got a plan for speed to lead next year. If you don't, your investments will not return the optimal amount for the cash, the money that you're going to be putting out, okay? So leveraging automation, this is what it looks like. Our system is called Growth Express. This is what it looks like from a patient engagement. They were calling to confirm their appointment. We were able to text them back. There's just an engaged conversation. As you know, people are happy to text while they're doing things versus, I can't pick up that call right now because I don't know how long it's going to take. Think about the variables that go through your head when you're able to answer a call, when you see your phone ringing, okay? Now, automation enables us to take it a step further as well. And what we're able to do as part of our technology, and happy to share this with you, is we're able to take a prepayment. So in this particular screen here, you're able to see, okay, the contact where the data has been blurred out. This is someone who came through a text, an SMS through one of our chat widgets, okay? Now, what's happening here is our team has spoken to them on a call, sent them a safe payment link, and then from there, what's happening is it is sending them this payment link where they can pay. And we can see that has been paid. Their appointment has been confirmed. I think this is for a $99 consultation fee for this practice, which stacks up to practice revenue. Also, from the tracking standpoint, we can see where they came through, okay? They came through and they saw our ad initially through social media. Okay, they went through, they visited a series of different pages. This data, guys, it paints a picture for how patients are engaging in that new patient journey, okay? That's called Growth Express, our tool. Other tools are available that might be able to do similar things. I just want to emphasize the importance of knowing that this data and being able to implement these types of tactics and strategies to grow your practice. Okay. The results of this for this type of campaign was we're plugging in the leaks. Okay. We have a client that was, the data here shows that they went from missing 31% of opportunities, of inbound opportunities, to 0.4%. This is the before, this is the after. They were missing 1 in 3. So they were bleeding 30% of opportunities, of essential money opportunities for their practice. We increased the call response effectiveness by 58% by including a scheduling and automation system. And within the first 30 days, resulted in 101 prepaid appointments and almost $10,000 in consult fees, because that was a $99 consult fee there. And for Giselle, they had no lead management process in place. For Dr. Prado Wright, implementing this system was absolutely game changing. We've been working with her for almost a year right now. They get a 97% show rate because they've got that automation in place. They've got a good lead management system in place where they're able to use the tools to call patients back and to use that safe payment link through automation to get that patient to prepay, to get skin in the game after connecting with that patient. And needless to say, the revenue impact was tremendous, over $250,000 of additional practice revenue within the first 90 days. Okay. Okay, guys, I want to be aware of time here, so I'm going to keep moving. We're going to talk about reputation. Okay. And reputation is everything. Okay. As a business owner, as an individual, as a medical practice, also, it's even more so having a reputation in place, and one that is accurate to the type of impact that you have in your community. I think more reviews equals more calls. It's a higher level of trust and ranking, and essentially a higher level of confidence with the patient. Okay. Think about the last time that you were looking to do something or go somewhere. Think about someone checking out your practice. If you have no reviews, or 3 reviews, or 27, 2.4 average ratings, and the other guys have 75 reviews, 4.9 rating, which practice is somebody going to be inclined to click and speak to first? You get it. Okay. It's very, very important. All right. More reviews equals more, and more good reviews equals more schedules, a higher show rate, more sales. We want everybody on this webinar, on this training and workshop, we want you to be the practice, to be the business the patients call first. And you're going to do that by generating more reviews. Okay. Reviews can be done through a number of different ways. The best way to do it is create a culture of asking for reviews. Okay. Incentivize your staff. What's your goal? Have you got a goal of getting 30 new reviews in the month of January? Why not? That's only going to be 7 or 8 reviews per week, 1 per day. You should be able to get at least 1 review per day by asking satisfied customers, clients, patients as they check out. There's tools that can enable you to do this. Bird Eye, Podium, they'll automate it, the same as Growth Express, our tool here as well. We train our teams, we train your staff in order to, when that patient checks out, there's a couple of questions you should ask them. And if those questions come back positive, click that button when they're there, send them that review request, ask them on the spot. Otherwise, they'll go to their car, they'll forget about it, and you won't get that review. Do it on the spot. Okay. Send them directly to Google. Google is where you get the most bang for your buck from a review standpoint. That's where, as we saw in the local maps, that's what people are looking at. They're seeing those Google reviews. So ask for that Google review. Use technology to help you out. We're also able to automate it. Amazing success story. Just another one really recently. One of our practices, when patients are searching for best aesthetic center up in New Jersey, okay, within this month, actually, the month of December, they went from 0, a newer location. The location's been open for a few months and they hadn't got reviews, but we help with that. Went from 0 to 67 reviews in the first 30 days. So that game changing. So now they went from really like, anonymity, if that's the word, to number 1 within the map pack area. It also boosted their organic. Okay. Yelp has a decent foothold organically when it comes to best aesthetic center in the area, but they're next up. Okay. And so absolutely huge, from 0 to 67. We did it by asking patients through training and technology. Better reputation and ranking, more calls, more schedules, more shows. Okay. Give me a review in chat if you guys are going to emphasize getting more reviews in 2024. I'm going to take a quick sip here. Okay, cool. Reviews, guys, they're so important. Don't sleep on that. You will grow your business as you grow the number of reviews that you get. Let's talk about increasing sales. let's talk about your database. Let's talk about money at your fingertips, okay? There is money at the fingertips of every business on the call here, mine included. We use our database strategically. You should do too, okay? Any given business is going to have, if you're established, hundreds, maybe thousands of contacts in your database. You've got existing patients, you've got leads that didn't convert. We actually did a resurrection plan, as the practice called it, a while ago, where we took what they thought was a dead lead list. It was a lead list that another company had generated for them, didn't convert, got thrown in the trash. We made a bet with the business owner that we would be able to convert that lead list, or we would eat our hat, basically. And so we'll talk about that in a moment. What you can do is use your database right now, pull open, download your CSV file, okay? You should have a tool, there should be a way that you can communicate through email and through text message. Very important that you have text message. That's most important, but email is very helpful too, because text messages, there's a 97% open rate. Think about the last time that you didn't see a text message, okay? Email is closer to 10, 15% with that open rate, and people are reading those text messages really quickly. So when you can make an offer, send a compelling message to your database to do something, hey, it's Kate with ABC Medical here. We're doing something special before the year is out. We're doing a special on Botox and fillers so that you can spring into the new year looking your radiant self. We're doing $100 off. We're doing 10% off. We're doing XYZ. Give us a call back, reply back if you're interested. Boom. When you do that, you're able to schedule new patients. You're able to get them. You've already paid for that contact in the database. Why not give them an incentive to come into your practice and then make sure you're upselling them? Cool. Give them their Botox, but make sure that you're having that discussion beforehand about other services they should do. Get them back for that repeat visit, okay? For Dr. Tao, when we launched the campaign for him, he had a list that he gave us of 1,400 dead leads. We got 177 replies, 14 booked appointments, so a little over about 12% on the replies. We had about 10% of those, or maybe closer to 8% of those booked appointments. This is initially, they went on, as the database went on further, I believe they booked more. 11 sales from that, which generated almost $13,000 of revenue in 10 days. Just like that. Didn't spend a dime on advertising, 13 grand in 10 days. Went on to generate a lot more from other follow-ups that those patients had. But guys, at the click of a button, you can add cash to your practice, okay? What is Daniel Day-Lewis and a Chick-fil-A server doing in our presentation? You might be asking. Well, let me explain, okay? Daniel Day-Lewis is, in my opinion, one of the best actors in the world, okay? He practices, he trains, he rehearses. He's one of the best of the best because of the time and effort that he puts in, the training that he does. At Chick-fil-A, when you go in for a meal, let me ask you what happens when you say thank you. My pleasure, right? That's right, because they have an incredible training program at Chick-fil-A also. Guys, in 2024, if we're not investing time in our team for training, if we're not training ourselves, then we're missing out, all right? If we're not sharpening our saw. I know with our practices here, you're doing continuing education, and commend you for that. We've also got to make sure that we're giving continuing education to our team, okay? If we're not equipping them with the knowledge and the skills to use the tools we provide them with, then they're not going to be able to maximize their capacity and to maximize their productivity, okay? Team training, instead of thinking it as time that you're going to have to spend with the team when you could be doing something else, think of it as time that's invested in your practice to grow. Think of it as increased profits. Engaged teams show 21% increase in profitability. A trained team, a highly trained team, should be a competitive advantage for you. You're in the business of people. We're in the business of helping you help people to look better, to feel better, and be better. We help people look better, feel better, and be better. We do it in our organization, our clients, and through you as well. The competitive advantage is that a well-trained team can add a 10% increase in customer satisfaction. Happy customers help you get more happy customers. More reviews, more referrals, more revenue for your practice, okay? 33%, a third of Americans say they'll consider switching companies after just one instance of poor service, okay? Train your teams, have amazing customer service, equip them with how to use the tools that we provide. We do this with our practices. Here's me speaking at an event, doing training with a team of practices. Us at ClinicGrower, we train your teams to use the tools that we provide, also just to be to be more valuable team members, okay? To help them help you to convert more patients. That's part of our program. As part of scheduling a call with us, we'll also equip you, give you some of the frameworks, the tools that we use to help train our teams and practices, including some of the scripts and frameworks, what we call our perfect patient booking script. So that Daniel Day-Lewis, when he goes on set, he's rehearsed the script many, many times. Equipping your team with a framework and a script in order to convert new patients, one that works well for hundreds of practices across the US, that should be valuable for most practices on this call. I would say for everybody. So make sure we're doing the training. Make sure that you're training your team members and equipping them with what they need to succeed. Give me a training in the chat, please. If anybody here is planning to do any specific training with their teams next year. It's so important, guys. We've got to train our teams, okay, in order to maximize our return on investment, which we're going to talk about next. Give me an ROI if you guys want to talk about money, making money, generating a return on investment, okay? I thought so. Thank you. Plenty of activity in the chat. So let's talk about going back to our planner, okay? We looked at the numbers and ratios and allocations that we're going to make. At a marketing budget, if you're under 5%, you're going to be static. You're maybe going backwards. At a 6 to 15%, that's going to be moderate growth, good growth. Over that 12% is going to, if invested wisely, will grow your business. At going, over 12%, you're going to see accelerated growth, okay? You're going to really be in a space where 12, 13, 14, 15% spent in the right areas, you're going to be growing your business. We need to understand what does that look like, okay? So if you come back to your, we're going to our worksheet here, all right? We've done our website review. Hopefully you've been tracking along with that. SEO, Google Maps, our paid search, social media, spoke about lead conversion. We're going to get now to ROI and tracking, okay? All right. So let's go into our sheet here. We're going to move to our ROI calculator tab. And this is where we're going to look at return on investment, okay? Now, this is a really powerful calculator. Again, just enter the data in yellow. Let's start off with your baseline, okay? Your month one averages, right? This is where, from the data that we went through initially, you had a 62,500 monthly revenue, or plug your monthly revenue in here. Put your marketing investment in, your percentage. We said 10% at a 62.50 per month. How many new leads are you getting? When you're in that month one, track how many leads. It's very reasonable that for that investment, you should be getting, somewhere between 75 to 125 leads at that investment. There's going to be referrals coming through. There's going to be different sources. Okay, so how many new leads are you getting from the activities that you're doing? Excuse me. On the new schedule standpoint, okay, what percentage, plug your percentages back in here, 40% lead to schedule, 70% show rate, and 80% close rate, okay? This is where the numbers will start to show through for you, all right? So at a 40% schedule rate, you've got 40 new schedules, 28 are showing up, 17 sales being generated. At an average sales transaction of 750, this is where you put your sales transaction in, that new revenue generated in that first month is a little shy of 13,000, 12,600. Guys, let me know if that makes sense. Just give me a 1 in the chat if that makes sense so far. It's so important to know our numbers. Businesses run on numbers. Okay, great. See the ones. Appreciate that. So your total revenue is going to be new revenue plus your baseline revenue. What did you make new based off the investment that you just made? Okay. Now here's where it stops for a lot of practices, and here's where it gets dangerous. A lot of businesses will say, cool, I spent $6,000. I made 12 grand. I made 13 grand. Cool. 2-to-1 ROI. Now they've got some overheads to factor into that. There's different expenses. So they need to look at that, but they're making money from that investment. We should be looking for ways to, to increase that by increasing the percentages here. However, here's where businesses fail. They fail to recognize that one visit from that patient should be more. Okay. That one visit for that 1 month should be Allergan, do a great job. Conditioning patients. Cool. Come in 3 times a year. Come in for your Botox 3 times a year. They're investing money in the marketplace. They're educating the market. You should too. When that patient comes in, make sure that we're scheduling that follow-up with them. All right. Give them an incentive at that first visit to schedule their second appointment. All right. Are we looking at membership programs? Brad is launching a membership masterclass. If you want more information, just reach out to us. We're more than happy to give you information on that. in order to grow your recurring revenue as a practice. All right. But even if we're only getting patients in 3 times in 1 year, and it should be more in many instances, that's where practices fail to recognize that actual expected revenue from that one new patient that you've generated through your marketing should be 37,800 when you combine the 17 sales by the fact that we should have them coming back a lot more often. That's 37, almost $38,000 in revenue. So your ROI, instead of being a 2-to-1 ROI, should be a lifetime value ROI of closer to 23-to-1. Think about that. Roll the red carpet out to every new patient who comes in. Get them back for a repeat visit. Make sure you've got the reviews in place. Make sure the website looks really good. Make sure we're retargeting them. Make sure that you are the dominant player in town in order to maximize your return on investment. Here's where it gets really fun. That was month 1, okay? Now, let's flash forward to the end of 2024 when you're reflecting. You've increased the number of your website is better. You've got your practice showing up in the map pack, all right? More patients are finding you. So the number of leads, there's more leads there. You've got more reviews. The close rate, the schedule rate has increased, okay? You've got automation in place. You trained your team. You started to use a strategic growth model. Let's say that we're getting just 3% better every month, okay? Let's say that it's just 3% better every month. Well, that's going to have a compound effect. What that's going to have is that's going to be increasing the schedule rate, the show rate, and also the sale close rate to the point where and the number of visits that patients are coming in for should be increasing as well. But let's go back to say it's still only 3 times. Your expected revenue from the patients is now gone up to $95,000, almost $100,000. Your expected return on investment is going to be, for that month 1, is going to increase now to a 4-to-1 ROI, okay? The actual lifetime value of that patient is going to increase as well. Let's see if I can refresh my page here so that we can see that happen. But the lifetime value ROI for that patient is going to increase as well. I see it's taking a moment to update here, but that expected value at 4 visits, that's where it was. If we've increased just a little bit, 30-to-1 ROI, okay? But the big thing is that you're increasing the lifetime value. Just give me a yes in the chat if you guys get that. This is your ROI calculator. Use this to see how your campaigns are performing, okay? All right, awesome. I see that we're getting activity in the chat. Hopefully we're still engaged here. I appreciate you guys spending the time with me. Now, when it comes to return on investment, that's what your marketing should do. Return on investment needs to be looked at in different ways. And we find that when it comes to generating an ROI for a practice, you have to have the results. You've got to be able to get those tangible results, to see those new patients coming in, and to see that revenue impact in your bank account, okay? Also having a relationship with your provider, with your marketing partner, okay? That's what it takes, is someone who's going to generate the results and has a relationship with you to get that return on investment, someone who stays in communication. Make sure that when you're working with a team, whether it's someone that you know or another agency, you've got a good relationship, that there's really good communication protocol, because that will enable you all to work together to drive forward on your combined mission to grow your business, okay? Our average clients, for example, just the average, and they're getting a 7-to-1 return on investment, about 75%. Below average is going to be under 4-to-1 for us, and that's less than 10%. And then some of our heavy hitters, the guys that listen, they do the work, they get more reviews, they enable us to rank their website, they enable us to get them into the map pack, they enable us to run ads for them, they follow the protocol, they train their team, they're engaged, they listen, they combine, we partner together. That's the upper echelon, those 15%, 15% that are doing 15-to-1 or more. I can tell you that we have some clients like Dr. J, for example, who's doing a 30-to-1 ROI just because he really embraced the program. In fact, there's an example here. It's a 20-to-1 ROI from that particular snapshot, that case that we did. Dr. Verhalen, for example, 17-to-1 ROI. There's tremendous amount of return on investment that comes from having a partnership with somebody who generates results and have a relationship with. So I want to implore you to put that in place for the new year. Okay, we've taken a look at the components of the strategic growth model, getting up to the return on investment. Now we want to amplify that ROI by looking at what can we do from a referral standpoint. What's crucial is to be able to use some of the things that we just discussed here. Stay top of mind with your market. Leverage your CRM or your project management system. leverage automation so that you can use your contact database here, which we blurred out, names, phone numbers, emails, real people that have realized that would respond to an offer if you just made it, okay? So make sure that we're leveraging our CRM. What we like to do as well is to create an omnipresence for our practices. So we spoke about retargeting, okay? This is where you're able to seem like you are everywhere in front of your ideal patients. I'm living in Florida. There's an attorney, Morgan & Morgan. Seems like he is everywhere. And he is. He's spending millions of dollars a month in marketing and advertising. Most people on the call today don't have $1 million a month to spend. So it's about using your finite resources in order to maximize the results of your campaigns. So what you should do is, and what we do is set up Facebook, Instagram, different platform accounts. We also use a tool called AdRoll in order to surround patients, to retarget, to seem like you're everywhere, to create that familiarity, that know, like, and trust. When you open those accounts, you can grab what's called a pixel. That pixel, put it on your website. It's code. Give it to your web guy. Put it on your website. Put it on the funnel landing pages that you have. So when somebody visits that page, you're not just paying to reach them once, but now you can retarget them and have a retargeting strategy in place in order to reach those patients over and over and over until you become the de facto choice in their mind. Copy and paste that pixel, and now you're ready to seem everywhere online in front of your audience. Okay, this is what's showing you a pixel helper here. If anybody wants to grab that little tool, it's a Chrome extension. Just let us know. And after the call here, or when you have a call with us, we're happy to provide other tools to enable you to grow your business. We use this for our clients also. Okay, guys, we've been through the wheelhouse, our strategic growth model, from seducing new leads, scheduling new appointments, getting the show, getting the sale, and helping you to scale. Okay. Let me know in the chat, what is the one area, the priority for you to focus on in 2024, where you need most help. I feel like everybody needs to focus on all of these, or to use all of these tactically in order to focus on growing your business. But let us know what's been most impactful for you, okay? Really want to get some key takeaways. What areas are most impactful? Where do you find the lowest lying fruit might be for your practice? Reviews. I see a lot of folks appreciate the value of reviews. The map pack for sure. Sumit, yep. Paid ads, awesome. Mark, thank you. All of it. Okay. Okay, guys, thank you. Let's look at planning your focus. Okay. We've also provided tools for you that will enable you to move quicker into the new year. So as we went through the budgetary, the KPIs, the tactical implementation, also want to equip you with the messaging and the types of promotions and things that you can do in order to implement your plan. If you come to the marketing calendar component of your plan, this is going to be here for you. So you have that on the tab within your worksheet. And then the implementation of this is that you can adjust this for your practice. Have a specific theme for the month. For most aesthetic practices, New Year, New You. Coming right down to, Halloween spooktacular specials, enchanted elixir, promotional ideas. We're constantly creating new promotional ideas for our practices in order to stay fresh, to keep that content fresh, and to really generate promotions that fill practices. Okay. Brad recently did a promotions masterclass. If you want access to that, reach out. Happy to give it to you. It goes in depth on these promotional tools in order to grow your practice profitably. You want to look at different methods and different promotions and content for your blog articles, for SEO, your Google business posts, okay? Those posts that go in your Google business profile. These are all things that you should be doing in order to surround patients and just to generate that traffic and to generate that awareness and interest for your business. If you're not doing it, remember, somebody else is. Social media posts and organic, make sure we got them. Use a strategy for your organic and also for your ads too. These are great promotional concepts for ads that we launch for clients also, okay? Okay, so if you want help with this, you can smash the let's talk into the channel, okay? We really appreciate the opportunity to connect with practices. It all starts with a call. I think that hopefully you'll find that if you speak with us, look, you're an expert in your space, we're an expert in our space. People, I love this expression, people don't care about how much you know until they know about how much you care. And if you decide to invest your time, 45 minutes to 1 hour is going to be appropriate. We'll walk you through a specific strategy session for your business. Then what you will find is that we care about every engagement, every interaction that we have. We want to respect your time. We want to create an amazing experience. We want to create a remarkable experience as part of our core values. And I think what you'll find when you check us out as well is that, other practices benefit a lot from the service that we provide. Some businesses also really benefit just from having that strategy session. We don't work with 100% of the businesses we have calls with, okay? The same way that you don't treat 100% of the patients that you consult with. But everybody who comes into your practice, you want to help. And everybody who comes into our world, we want to help and deliver value to as well. So if you decide to reach out to us, what we'll do is we'll provide a free digital marketing plan review using the plan that you have from the workshop here. We'll also do an analysis of your online visibility and conversion. We'll put the work in before our call so that we can bring tools and bring added value specifically for you on that strategy session. We'll create a local search heat map. So that's where we'll create this heat map for your business. Okay. So reach out if you want us to do that for you. We'll run a ranking reputation report so you can see how you're showing up versus the competitors. We'll also run a stealth competitive analysis so that you can see how competitors are advertising from a Google standpoint, to see what they're saying, to see how they're positioning. We'll run an analysis of your social media presence as well. We'll also provide you with a hidden opportunity assessment, show you where there's hidden opportunities in your market for your business, which right now is causing you to suffer from what we call unrealized monthly revenue, UMR. There's unrealized monthly revenue that you're experiencing, that every business is experiencing because of the things they're not doing, because of the areas that they can optimize, okay? And through the call, if it makes sense, we'll also create your practice growth plan for you to dominate your market. We'll make a specific recommendation based off the information and the strategy that we'll create on the call. Plus, anybody who reserves a call with us as part of the workshop here is also going to get a free copy of our new book, which is at the publisher. It's going to be in your hands in January. And what you can do, guys, is I see that people have entered in the chat. We appreciate that. We'll make sure to follow up with you and get those calls scheduled. Also, just go ahead and I'm going to drop this in the chat here. Go to clinicgrower.com schedule, or simply call us or give us a text at 877-813-6873. Okay. There you go. It's in the chat. And we really, again, we appreciate the opportunity to connect with everybody, with practices. We went through our strategic growth model. We'll do that with you on a call. As we wrap up today, I want to ask you, what are your top action items? Make sure that you spend the time reflecting after the workshop today and write down, like, what are your three top action items? Like, write them down. What are the three things that you need to do? Okay. Don't suffer from analysis paralysis or an overload here. Three things that you need to do as you plan to move into the new year with momentum. Okay. Make sure you're using the workbook. All right. How are you doing with the workbook? Have you been completing it? Please don't leave it as just another file on your computer. Use it. We use our marketing plan here. We work with our practices to make sure they're using their marketing plan. So make sure you use the tools that we've covered on the call today, and reach out if you need any support with using any of them. All right. We went through goals. We went through targets for the year. We spoke about aligning those KPIs and the tracking, okay, to make sure that there's action that's happening and it's being tracked throughout the process. We spoke about the plan to accomplish your goals, okay, budget allocation, using specific channels in order to get you where you need to go. We spoke about the trends that we're seeing when it comes to the importance of using that local SEO strategy, that Google heat map strategy, having a really strong strategy in place for influencing patients on social media. We spoke about the website component, training your staff, automation. So make sure that you have plans in place to use those tools heading into the new year so that you can get set up for massive success, not only in 2024, but 25, 26. I want to hear from you. I want to see how you're growing your business based off the activities that you should be taking from the call today. Okay. Again, if you want help with any of this, you can reach out. We can go through and do a free digital marketing plan review with you. Just go to clinicgrower.com, hit schedule, or you can call or text us at the number here, 877-813-6873. It means the world for me to have you have spent the time with me today, to be here for the live training and workshop. It also means the world for us as a company at ClinicGrower to understand how our partners are doing. And if you go to a review section of our website, you can see a lot more. But just understanding what it was like to work with Perfectly Made. They had been battered by other marketing companies, and our program, the strategic growth model, helps them to get better quality patients. That patients that are coming in to spend more money. They're growing their business because we're attracting the right type of patient with them. They're doing the work. We're working together in order to grow their business. Doctor down at Exert Clinic down in Fort Myers, over $250,000 in the first 90 days. They're quite happy. They've generated a tremendous amount of growth over the close to a year that we've been working together. Verhalen Aesthetics, having the calls, having the patient scheduled for them, having automation in place, and doing the hard work so that they can grow their business. They really appreciate it. I want to understand what it would mean for you. Take some time to think what it would look like, future pace. What will it look like when you have the plan in place to grow your business, to get to the point where maybe you want to spend, I know we've got some docs here that want to spend just more time with their patients, okay? They want to have the other components working, the ads performing, the patients on the schedule and fill their schedules. Understand what that means for you. Do you need to generate more leads? Do you need to provide more team training so that you can have leaders on your team that can do the things that you're doing right now, that can use the tools that you provide as part of the plans you provide them with? What does it mean to you, okay? So let's talk. You can simply go to clinicgrower.com schedule, text us at 877-813-6873. I really appreciate the time that everybody has dedicated to the live training and workshop today. We will do a Q&A here in a moment after we end the recording. But I just want to, again, personally thank everybody for joining. It's been a pleasure. We love serving our medical and aesthetic practices. Again, it's Brett McHugh with ClinicGrower. We will we'll hit the recording right now and we'll do a quick Q&A. Okay.